and I'll be looking at comments on our live here. Because we're at, let me turn my phone down though. We are going to talk about the global impacts of Mars going retrograde, and but we're also going to look at more personal aspects too. And so what we did last time is you guys shared with us your charts and everything, and so we're happy to take a peek. It won't be like a deep dive, but we'll take a peek to see maybe how Mars is affecting you and any other thing that you like to speak about. But really today is about Mars. So if those of you who don't know, Mercury is not the only planet who goes into retrograde, although it gets the most traction and pop culture reference, like the other planets go into retrograde as well. And when Mars goes into retrograde, it's a different beast. And I think you would agree to say that we're seeing it play out in real time here. I mean,
Yep.
December 4th, CEO of a major healthcare company was shot, and it was to no surprise to any astrologer, I believe, because Mars Mars can be stereotypically rage. It's when and then when we're in Pluto and Aquarius, to me that's a combination of like the people are speaking up, the people are angry, the people want
Mhm.
change now, and they will take it into their own hands, as this individual did.
Yeah, the thing that got me was like that new moon in Sagittarius. I look back at that Mars retrograde is happening in the ninth house of that new moon. So the ninth house rules like things like judicial systems or people, and that's also kind of a high authority position. So like to see something like that happen isn't very surprising to me.
And law, a lot about law,
Yeah,
where
law,
obviously
naval,
gun control has been brought up, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Um, so really, I just wasn't. I was dismayed, but I was not shocked. And then on Monday, I recorded my forecast, but I didn't post it till the next day. But I mentioned in the forecast about Mars retrograde, I just said one key word is warfare,
Yep.
especially given opposite Pluto. And the next morning, martial law was
Mm.
declared by the South Korean president. And even though that has kind of run out of steam a little bit, that doesn't matter. It's just showing us these key points that we're seeing this play out on the global stage, and it's gonna get more intense. That's
Oh
all
yeah,
I
this
could
is the
say.
beginning. This is where it
This is-
starts. This is where it starts.
yeah.
Like there's a whole different level next year. It's about to be unraveled. There's a lot of different things that I'm seeing in this time period where it's like this is the beginning of Pluto and Aquarius. All these transits we're seeing right now are just showing you what to expect moving forward once Pluto gets moving.
Yeah, Pluto is just barely gaining traction when a planet's in an early degree, especially a slow moving planet, when it's the early degrees of a sign, it's kind of like like that chug chug chug. It's that slower moving energy. But so we should mention too, we talked about Pluto and Mars. It's because Mars happens to be opposite Pluto during this
Oh yeah.
retrograde, and
Another huge thing.
that is key here. That if Mars was retrograde with nothing else happening, yes, we'd feel it, but because it's opposite Pluto and getting closer to Pluto, that's why it's like boom, it's in your face, it's like ready to roll.
Yeah, definitely. And also Mars is retrograding right on top of the United States North Node, which is crazy. Like exactly on
Right.
6 degrees,
Yeah.
6 degrees Leo.
So Altariq likes to look at, of course, the birth chart of the United States, and how things. A lot of astrologers like to look at that to see what we're working with, like natally, but also what's happening now and how it's touching the planets. Just like any person or event, that we all have a birth chart. You don't have to be a living thing to have a
Yep.
birth chart. So you could have an event chart where it's the event was, the signing of the Declaration, and that's the birth of the United States, and that's what we look at as well to look deeper into what how things could be affected. And I should mention, in 2022, February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. That is when Mars joined Pluto, and so that this is different. This is an opposition, but that gives you a little taste of the intensity of these two planets working together.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the conjunction is like it's like the door opening, but then like the opposition is like integration of what was supposed to be found at that time. So what happened in 2022 is starting to come to full fruition now, and we're starting to see the picture of what it was supposed to be.
It's like a sneak peek to certain things. Just sometimes a taste of things. And I look back, I like to look at history, and I look back at some of these, Mars opposite Pluto, specifically in Leo and in Aquarius, and I found obviously war invasion, like huge, like the invasion of Hungary for the third time. And then there was another huge battle. But what's interesting, it's when the French allied with the United States. So we're seeing conflict and battle, but also the joining of forces. You
Yep.
know what I mean? The
Oh,
joining of forces
yeah.
to oppose something humongous. And that's what we're seeing, I think, play out with this shooting is I think we're going to see more protests. We're going to see more shootings, unfortunately, when people are sick and they're fed up. So that's what we see. And I want to mention too, with both of the things in history that I noticed, these invasions, they were both thwarted by weather. Okay.
Mm.
So I thought that was interesting. Both of them. There's a little blurb that mentioned, oh, the weather made it impossible for them to move forward, right? So to me, maybe that's the air and the fire. You get air and fire, and it's this, you know, it creates atmosphere. It creates a volatile atmosphere if it's not balanced. So I'm wondering if that's, I don't know. Just a little blurb to throw out there for you guys to think about. But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, and I can pull up the chart. Let me pull up the chart. Hi Chris, hi Tatiana. Um, Chris joined us last time. We looked at his situation. All right, so I have the transit chart for today. Let me share my screen. Alrighty.
Okay.
So when we look at planets, we obviously look at everything. We talked about Pluto opposite, but we also have a couple of good things too. We have currently that's kind of a wide orb, but the sun is technically trining Mars, but most importantly, Mercury is too. A little bit wide, but that's okay. And then you can say that North Node is involved as well. I would say Neptune's kind of a little far out for me to be considered, but North Node I'd say is impactful there too.
The way I see Neptune right now is Neptune is ruling Saturn. So Saturn is ruling Pluto and and anything
Hmm.
Capricorn and Aquarius. So it's definitely it's still ruling Venus. Venus is about to move into Aquarius and hit Pluto, which is going to be nuts because it rules the South Node right now in Libra.
I think it enters it on Saturday, right? Tomorrow, right? Pretty soon here, either tonight or tomorrow.
I think it's today.
Today. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, guys.
Yeah.
That's gonna whoa. It's like it's almost too much, everyone. It's almost too much. Like
You got
be
you got
safe, okay?
you got Mars opposing Pluto, and then you got Venus conjunct Pluto, and these both the North and South Node are being affected by that. So it's a huge time, and so basically I mean, Pluto is in the seventh house of, I mean, no, yeah, Pluto's in the seventh house of Mars right now, which is why what you were saying about partnerships in war and things like that, how the French joined the war. Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. It's crazy how this stuff works.
And there's so much. I said this in the forecast. There's so much fire right now. So much fire. And you could, if you want to look it, but also a lot of air. So that's like a boiling point. It's a boiling point, and that's exactly what we're seeing. It's like I get the words fed up when I see this, like fed up, and we see people popping up. I tell people like in your personal life, just like watch your words a little bit. Just watch your words and find a healthy outlet for extra energy for anything that feels like you can't take it anymore. And I should mention too, in a more personal level, Mars, when it goes retrograde, depending on where he is in your chart, it could be a bit of a like depletion of energy. It's very much about vitality and like
Mm.
sometimes like the blood system, physical stuff. And so you could feel genuinely fatigued, especially if he's like rolling backwards through your sixth house. Like, ooh, boy. It's also about just being mindful of where your energy goes too. Where are you expelling it? To me,
Mm.
Mars is so much about that energy, that vitality, that stamina. So we may feel like we're kind of losing our steam a little bit, and I think maybe that's due to also the end of the year. We're kind of like, all right, like I'll be better next year about this. I'm gonna like put this on the back burner. I'm tired.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. It's like the main another main thing I'm seeing is Venus. I mean not Venus, Mercury opposing Jupiter and the Sun opposing Jupiter. So it's like everybody feels like they're having like bad luck, ego crisis going on, like ego death, because that opposition between Pluto and Mars, and also the opposition between Mercury and Jupiter. Which the last time there was a Mercury retrograde and a in Sagittarius and the Jupiter retrograde in Gemini was Pearl Harbor. Um,
Oh, right, yeah.
and then you have that aspect. You have the Mercury opposing Jupiter and it's T squaring Saturn, which is insane.
Yeah, no, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Saturn in Pisces has been an interesting ride.
Yeah.
And so
My,
you also have to be mindful. Like I heard a well-known astrologer be like, "Oh, Gemini is it's just your lucky time. It's Sag season and Jupiter's in your sign." It's like, "Hold on, hold on, hold
David.
on." Hold
Nothing about
on.
that.
You're not mentioning that Jupiter is in retrograde and Sag just, opposite us, opposite Jupiter. So it's no, as a Gemini, Sun, stellium, everything, right? I would not say that it's been an optimistic time.
No.
It's been it to me it's been like reflection. It's been like rethinking moves. It's not
Mm,
really been an action. It's been I'm in like rest mode with strategy, with planning. I'm kind of like putting things on the back burner. I'm letting things simmer before I make the next move. And I feel like that's where Gemini's at. I wouldn't buy into the pop or TikTok astrology that's like, oh, you're so lucky.
yeah,
Jupiter,
no,
hold on, nah, nah, nah.
nah,
Like, nah. There's a lot, I mean, and especially with that Saturn square, it's like, hang on, what are you talking about? Like, no,
yeah,
no, no, no. We're just, I mean, yeah, it could be luck in some regards, so that's why you have to look at everything.
yep,
And Jupiter, I tell people, I feel like a broken record. I'm like, Jupiter it enhances and expands what's there. If let's say you have like an addiction or something, it's gonna expand upon that. So it doesn't care whether it's good or bad. It's gonna expand. So it depends on your situation, what's going on. It will enhance certain things for better or worse.
yeah. And right now, Jupiter is as far out of its own light as it possibly can be because Jupiter is a day planet, which means it likes to be on the same side as the sun, and it's about as far away from the sun as it can possibly be. So it's gonna take on more of a Piscean version of Jupiter. So it's like so it's almost like a spiritual test. That's what it feels like. If you think about Pisces, it's kind of like imagine like the rapture happened and you were left behind. Like you're still here, everybody's gone. You see clothes hanging around. That's Pisces.
I love that image. Oh, but we need to have AI create that exact image. Like, all right, the rapture happened. You're the last person on Earth. They didn't take you.
Yeah, yeah, that's Pisces.
You're sitting there going, I was so dedicated. I was so faithful, but like I got left behind. What,
Why'd you leave
what,
me behind? I'm a
why'd you leave me
victim.
behind? Yeah, I'm a victim. Oh, that's the big one, man. Oh, right now, I'm a victim. No, the fire's going to make you say, nah, I got to take control over my life a little bit here. But I like how you earlier mentioned ego death. Boy, if there's anything like an ego death, it's when Mars is retrograding in Leo.
Yep,
You know what I mean? It's
yep,
almost like when it's full force, it's like, yeah, I'm invincible. Like, bring it on. And then retrograde, you're kind of like, oh, your confidence starts to wane a little bit. Like, maybe I
yeah.
was too hasty. There's a lot of hasty energy right now. Hasty, hasty
Yeah,
stuff.
it's time to look back at look at your soul growth and how you've been expressing yourself and your creativity and looking back at that and maybe reanalyze it, but not overanalyzing because we have this
Yeah.
whole Jupiter Mercury thing going on.
Yep.
We don't want to overanalyze it, but it's definitely a looking back at everything you created. Maybe there could be things about involve your ego about anything in the chart because the ego affects all parts of the chart. So we're just having to take a look at that and charting a new path. Because like right now, it's like this whole Pluto thing is being reborn in a certain way. We're starting to see what Pluto is going to look like as far as how we're going to feel good because of Venus when it passes Pluto, and then we're looking at our ego and how we're going to restructure our ego with Pluto in Aquarius and what that's going to look like.
It's a kind of an uncomfortable thing for some people. It's you have to the thing with the axis of Leo and Aquarius is like I've seen people with it and you have to really humble yourself if you want to learn something. I've seen people with that axis like I know all the answers, like there's nothing left for me to learn. And that as a Gemini with a lot of stats that freaks me out, man. I'm a constant seeker learner. Like I don't want to think that I've ever learned everything. That's just so egotistical to me. So yeah, you do have to humble yourself a little bit and go, hey, maybe especially I feel like with Saturn involved, maybe I need to speak to an elder. Maybe I need to and it doesn't have to be an old person, but necessarily someone who knows more than you. Like you would be really, really it would be beneficial for you to get counsel, seek counsel, things like that. Just kind of and this whole chart tells me like slow your roll. Like
Yeah,
slow that roll and learn something.
this chart tells me seek mental health. Like it's like mental health is definitely a thing here because you got Jupiter, which rules Pisces subconscious. You have a Mercury, which rules the conscious, and they're T-squaring Saturn, which is depression.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. Like if you are feeling pretty anxious, especially given what's going on in the world, it's normal. I'm not trying to make excuses for it. Just be gentle with yourself with it. Don't overthink it. Don't think, "Oh my God, don't spiral," is what I'm trying to say. It's with things with astrology too, I always say this too shall pass. Like this is a lesson and it shall pass. Things are always moving. It's not gonna stay.
Yeah,
And hi Jillian. And if anyone, hi Casey, if anyone wants us to, if you have your chart on hand, would be really helpful. For us to look at something, I would be happy to take a peek if maybe you want to see what's happening involving Mars or even Pluto or wherever you're feeling like you need like a little bit of insight because we look at with Mars, obviously we look at what of your personal planets are being touched by Mars, but also the house if you have your birth time. So, where is Mars retrograding in your house? Out.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot going on because you got Mercury and you got Jupiter in literally the worst place they could be in. Probably they hate being in these signs. So and they have a lot of influence on this entire chart right now. So the mind and the subconscious are being dragged into this, and the ego. That's the main idea that I'm seeing, and it's like, and also it brings in that Chiron aspect too, where nothing looks how we want it to look. We want everything to change. That brings in the ego too. Like the ego wants to analyze and perfect reality, and reality is not looking real perfect right now. Reality is doing the opposite.
Right. No, exactly. And I should mention personally to bring personal, oh, Jillian does not have her birth chart. Well, we can maybe whip it up for you if you want to. I don't know if you want to. Some people don't want to post their stuff publicly, but for me personally, Mars is rolling backwards through my ninth house. So that's been interesting because I before I even thought about Mars doing that, I did not have that in mind. It wasn't a self-fulfilling prophecy, but I was like, I'm in relearn mode. That's what I was like, I'm in relearn reassess all this, all the retrograde stuff. But before Mars even fully went, we're in the shadow period. But I was like, okay, I need to slow down. I need to reassess things and plot my next move, but I need to have more information. That was my thing. I'm like, I need more info. I need to learn. Um, that's what that's looked like for me a little bit. And I feel like when he comes out of retrograde in at the end of February, I'm probably gonna feel really, really inspired to move forward again, especially in business, because then he'll be entering my 10th house. So that's where I think I'm gonna get full steam ahead, especially in business matters.
Yeah, but once that Mars exits retrograde, things are gonna start turning up around the world. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna look pretty
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Yeah. Because he's gonna be because he's in fire, the fire Mars likes being in fire. He's freaking you know, a warmonger. So, and it's not always. I hate to always pin war on him, but we have the term martial law for a reason, and
Mhm.
things like that, and we just see elevations of anger. He often gets tied to anger, but
Yeah,
also just very masculine. very
Yeah.
masculine in general. As we all know, he's a symbol of masculinity,
Yep.
literally the glyph.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Venus entering Aquarius, that's going to be interesting just because of Venus, is Venus in
Mhm.
detriment in it? No, not detriment.
No. No, Venus
No.
is I think it's pretty neutral there.
Yeah, pretty neutral. So that means I don't
Actually,
know. Venus in Aquarius is a bit more of a detached, like it's kind of aloof,
yeah.
not so I love you, man. It's kind of like I don't know,
It would prefer
kind of
not
a
being in Saturn's sign, but I mean at least not Capricorn. It hates Capricorn,
oh, it has
but it's
Capricorn.
yeah. But yeah, oh yeah, the thing about Mars, I don't think it's really in Mars' natural nature to be violent. Mars' natural nature is to set boundaries and defend those boundaries. It's defensive more than offensive.
That makes
But
sense. Yeah.
it also it depends on what is going on. Like if the Mars is out of sect, then it becomes aggressive because it's being restricted. But when it's free, it just wants to just let me do what I do. It's not a conqueror. It's not wanting to conquer anybody. It's not wanting to be conquered. It just wants to be itself.
That makes sense. It's more defensive, like you said.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like I'm cool doing my thing, but if you're gonna step over that line, I'm going to end you. Like,
yeah, yeah,
like stay in your lane energy kind of a thing too.
yeah.
I'm gonna stop the share because Jillian gave me her birth time and I'm going
Cool.
to plug that in. I mean her birth information. So let me see. And you could maybe talk about just kind of how we're closing out the year. Like what intuitively do you feel like is that last end of 2024 blurb or lesson or little message?
Hmm. Let's see.
I know there's a lot to consider, but
There's a lot of different things, but I say the strongest thing is look at your ego and don't go all on intuition. Don't go all on logic. You got to use the both of them because like both of them are opposing and retrograde. So it's like what seems to be the facts that seem to present themselves could have another Piscean illusion to it that you didn't really see because of Jupiter in this position, and vice versa. Like you can feel something really strongly. Okay, okay, I got this intuition, but then the facts come up like, wait a minute, it's going this direction. Like so, it's like you got to use
uh-huh.
both. Instead, I think you can control how reality looks. Um, and instead of getting too bogged down in depression and there's this spiritual destiny we all have to follow, and it's starting to unravel itself in the stars right now. So we're all having to look at ourselves and what we were put on this earth to do, and stepping into our power and stepping into this new direction. Because Pluto in Aquarius is way different than Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn, like it's practical, it's Earth, so it's like point A to point B. Okay, we have this plan, we're gonna execute it, this business plan, but uh, this is Aquarius. Aquarius is like it's about science. It's like it's not like the COVID trust the science. It's like you have to try things out. You have to try different solutions. So there's no point A to point B. It's like A goes to C and it goes to D, then it's all over the place. So it's like you just
Hmm.
gotta jump from one thing to the next to find out what works and what doesn't.
It's like a zigzaggy energy. Like I picture football players when they do that little like they're zigzagging.
Yeah, juke. You get juked easily by
You get duped.
juke.
Duped. Let me share Jillian's chart. All right. So, boo, do, boo, boo. Ooh, Mars
Hmm,
is moving backwards through her first house.
hmm.
Talk about a little bit of a blow to the ego,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
there.
Let's see. That means Pluto is right there in her seventh house. Yeah, so it's like a redefinition of maybe relationships, friendships, might be looking at renewing contracts of some sort or business dealings, working with other people instead of it's like learning to redefine yourself in relationships and not being overly consumed by the relationship or not being over consumed by yourself. It's like finding an equal standing or like a balancing act between self and other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Jillian, are you creative in any way? I feel like that a good outlet for you would be creativity, given that, you do have a lot of fifth house stuff in the sun and Mercury's moving through your fifth. I wonder if you write or I don't know, do some I see you doing something pretty creative right now as like almost like a stress relief, like getting that energy out onto paper or onto whatever you do that's creative. I feel like maybe that would be time well spent
Hmm.
for you here.
I feel like you have to,
Um
that's something that's saying like getting out of your comfort zone more.
mm.
Um, that's like a like attachment versus detachment. It's like not being too that's the main thing of this Pluto opposed Mercury. Attachment versus detachment, not becoming a hermit and not becoming too out here in the world. Not always partying, not always being too detached.
Mm.
Let's see. Sun Capricorn.
Yeah, the sun is on her south node exact, so that what you're saying about comfort zone is for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's exact. Wow. And Jillian, if you have any areas, like specific things you want looked at, or like something that's happening in your life that I don't know, you want some answers to, let us know. We're happy because sometimes it's helpful to have an anchor, like, okay, well, what you want out of this, or what are you
Yeah.
looking for? Hi, Marcy. Um, yeah. So if
I
you have
wonder if
any.
she's in school or anything or learning something at this time. I say that because the North and South node,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to see how Mars and Venus are interacting with that with the Pluto conjunction and opposition.
And then Chiron moving in her 10th. So,
Okay, Chiron
I feel
and
like
yeah.
that I feel like, especially given that Mars is going retrograde in her first there, I wonder if that's almost like a di taking on a different role at work, or like or re-identifying something, or re-establishing a role, going into a different role.
Hmm,
Um,
definitely.
maybe something like that.
Hmm. Well, I'd be curious to see what she does for a living because, like, how are you attaching or detaching too much in that situation? That's what I would ask.
Mm,
Hmm.
detaching?
Yeah, I feel like everybody has to look at their own ego in this moment. It's like a time to look at ego because of I mean, Chiron and Aries and Mars, the ruler of Aries, opposing Pluto. Hmm. I feel like that could be like a situation where there's like a some kind of therapy of some sort, or looking through past trauma or shadow work going on here because of Moon and Eighth.
Mm. And that enhances the South Node aspects too, of like past, digging into the past with the sun and Mercury on there, and then Jupiter on the retrograde on the North Node, man.
Hmm. There could be some kind of problem with friendships
Mm-hmm.
because of Jupiter opposing the Sun. Feels like that's bad luck involving friendships or possibly acquiring something new, bringing in something or friendships or social circles. There could be some kind of problem there, or a sense of bad luck, or too being too analytical, or not, or being too um what's the word? Too Jupiterian, basically, or too illusionary, not seeing things clearly,
Mm.
or or
Mm-hmm.
being too practical. It's either you're not seeing things too clearly or you're being too practical.
I'm feeling too, and this is partially intuitive, as if you guys have been watching us, we do this, but I'm feeling like maybe there's somebody in your life that you thought was, I hate to use the word meal ticket, but I mean someone who will help you get further, and now you're having to rethink about the role this person is playing. Like, ooh, maybe they're not that bridge, or maybe they're not they're not keeping up their promises, or something about that. Something that's just what I'm getting. Something about relying on somebody, but going, oh no, I have to do it myself now. Like this person is not following through, or this person is not trustworthy.
Yeah. I feel like there's a situation coming up where they might feel alienated or what's the word? Um, exiled or like kicked out
Hmm.
involving social circles. I say that because of Uranus coming close to Chiron natally.
Which could be really, really, really emotionally wounding, given that she's a Cancer rising with the moon right there on the rising. I feel like that she could really take that to heart. It may be hard for her to
Hmm.
just kind of detach from like I don't know. Although I mean, she's a Capricorn, and I don't know, but she might be more resilient than I'm giving her credit for with that. But deep
Hmm.
down, there may be some like, ow, that stung, like, ooh, and that might re end up retreating a little bit, like you're saying, alienation, like that Cancer crab kind of going in, like they get hurt and then kind of goes like
Yeah.
this, like that.
Yeah. It's about safety, like safety and protection. That's the main word of Cancer. And
Yeah.
being a Cancer rising and that being in the first, the moon being in the first, that definitely is it definitely either you're very into safety or let me see. Actually, let me look at that. So this is a night chart. So yeah, that's a very strong moon. The moon is actually stronger than the sun probably in this situation because it's a night chart. It's in the first house. Hmm, interesting. Oh, I'm noticing there's a lot of planets in the sixth house. So that lets me wonder about taking care of yourself, health, routines, working out, planning your immediate environment must be a certain way, especially that Cancer energy. Is like everything around you has to be a certain way. Like it's either there's OCD or there's like a certain allergy or something like that. Hmm. That's interesting.
And if anyone else who's watching wants us to dig in a little bit, I don't know if Jillian's still watching. If not, she could watch the replay. It'll be up. But
Yeah.
yeah, we just like to see again. I mean, it takes, I think people don't realize sometimes it takes a long time to do a thorough reading because there's a lot to look at,
Yep.
especially if you don't have that anchor point like, oh, I need relationship advice. Like, done. Cool.
Yeah.
This is easy. If they're just like, oh, I just want a general reading, you're kind of like, well, this may take a little bit of time because I could go in 20,000 different directions. So this is just kind of more surface level where we're kind of taking the temperature of the chart at first glance, and we're, also getting intuitive messages based on what we're seeing.
Hmm. Yeah, I see a lot of Cancerian energy right here. That's the thing. A lot of things revolve around the home, protection, safety, maybe like a safety blanket or a safety sofa or whatever. Kansas always had that one thing, that safety room, or they don't like to leave the house a lot, or stuff like that. It doesn't always have to show up that way.
I can tell you, I know this firsthand. I have twin toddlers who are cancers, and they have a little security blanket. It's just like a little, it was just a little burping rag, for babies, and they glomped onto those, and they can't be without them, especially if they feel fearful or unsafe in any way. They say rag, rag, and they have to have that, and they
Yeah.
have to have it. Like not all day, just when they're, especially when they're like getting tired or they're feel scared. They have to have that thing. I'm like, seriously, you guys are so stereotypical Cancer, man. That like that security blanket thing, that is the most Cancerian thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and
And for adults, it doesn't have to be like something like stereotypical, like a blanket, but like you're saying, it could be like maybe like a uh like always having like one of those humongous Stanley or Yeti cups with you, or
yeah,
just something like to
it could be
hold you into
anything.
reality a little bit. It could be whatever brings you that
Usually,
comfort.
it's usually something involving the bed, though.
Weighted blanket, maybe. Maybe that would be
Yeah,
good for you, like a weighted. I've never tried those. I think I would hate them. Like, ew, girl, no, I don't. No, I can't do a weighted blanket, I don't think.
yeah. There's a lot of things involving family for sure. A lot of planets in the family houses. what else? Hmm. Yeah, everything just points to Cancerian energy. There's a lot of Cancerian Virgo type energy, Hermit, or and a lot of it's underneath the horizon. So it's like it's all internal. Everything's private, internal, family oriented. Let's see. That's just as far as natally. What else do
And
I see?
Mars is actually going to, when he's out of retrograde and goes deeper into Leo, he'll be sextiling your Mars. So
Hmm.
when that happens, that'll feel maybe you'll get like a burst of inspiration, a burst of reinvigoration, maybe in what we were saying about your friendships, maybe stagnating. Maybe you're gonna meet new people, or you're gonna feel like inspired to go out more, is what I'm feeling there. Because with Libra and Leo, those two things, it's like confidence to, I think, express yourself, but connect to, like, here I am. Like I get here I am energy when I see that.
All right. You want to check out the chart of the United States and Trump?
I do. Let me stop my share and then make sure you could share.
All right.
I think you could share now.
Go wait till this moves up the way. And here. This is the United States and Donald Trump's chart. And the thing that sticks out to me is this, because
Mhm.
Mars is right here in transit. It's happening right on top of that North Node of the United States. So
And
this is like
hits
a
Pluto.
definitely a re-identification of, let's see, things to do with finances, a financial restart of some sort. Hopefully that's not bad for our economy.
Yeah. I should tell people. So this is a synastry chart. So what that is when you take two charts and it's like overlaid over each other. So what you're seeing, the blue planets is the inside planets. That's the chart of the United States, and then outside is Donald Trump. So he's the red ones. Good color choice for that one.
Yep.
He gives off like red to me as someone with synesthesia. Like I get
Yeah.
red, man.
Yeah.
Orange too. Orange too. Like everyone else. But no red. I get a lot of red with that guy.
Yep. Which is a way I can bring up the transits on this too. Might.
Oh yeah, right. Oh wait, you can't. Oh, you can't do that with synastry. Oh
Yeah.
man, that doesn't
Well,
make
I
sense.
think there might
Huh.
be a certain chart for it. I might be able to find a chart for that, but I don't know. Let's see. What else is going on right here? So Pluto's sitting right here, zero. This is the United States Pluto. Sorry, past that. Um, let's see. This is in his fifth house. Trump's in Trump's fifth house is where Pluto's sitting. About to go into a sixth, so there might be some problems with health going forward.
Hmm.
Let's see what else. So you got Neptune sitting about right here, and Saturn probably right around here. Hmm. Chiron's probably like right here. No, that's North Node. Chiron's about here. The Chiron's pretty close to the United States Chiron. So that's kind of like the spirit of the United States. We're always looking to innovate and perfect our society. That's that Chiron energy. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna look up a different one, see if I can bring up some transits here. Actually, I think
I
I do
think
have.
didn't you mention a significant someone mentioned a significant transit on the inauguration day, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
Donald Trump.
Mhm.
Okay, transits. Okay. Anything stick out to you on Donald Trump's chart? Let me see if I can make this smaller so we can get the whole thing in.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me see. I mean, some of it is what we had gone over in the election prediction.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the newer stuff, the faster moving stuff that was not there before.
Mm.
I feel like he even though this is slow your roll energy, he's not the type to do that.
Yeah, he likes
You
to
know,
take control.
nah, and he has a lot of ego, a lot of ego. I feel like he's the type. He is really resilient. I mean, he makes some really resilient moves. Love him or hate him, he bounces back. He's a guy who's
Yeah.
been very, very, very much into debt, and he recovers. It's really interesting, the resilience he has.
I think that's because of this right here. This is like you have a Uranus here with the North Node and the Sun. It's like there's
Mhm.
a huge highs and lows in his life. It's never all constant. And
Yeah.
that's kind of good for the way we're going. That's kind of where the energy's going with Pluto and Aquarius. It's going to be intense highs and lows, and you have to find different solutions. He's really good at that because of all that Mercury involvement.
Well, it's
And it's
interesting
like,
that he does have that Uranus North Node Sun conjunction there because we're that's so Aquarius. I mean, that's so Aquarius, and we're here. We're in it.
yep. And we were in his time. So, but also there's Jupiter sitting right there, retrograde in fall position, and there's Mercury opposing that in
Right.
retrograde with the Sun. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good time for him in career. There's going to be some stuff going on behind the scenes that he's not really thrilled about. We never know. Let's see what else. Um,
To remind you guys, if you're watching and want us to take a peek
oh
at your
yeah,
chart like we did for Jillian's, put your information, or if you have your chart already and the image of it and you want to share that in the chat, that would actually be the most helpful. But if not, I could plug it in and we'll take a look. Um, I was looking at just to skip ahead to January a little bit, the inauguration day. Oh, it looks like we're having a Uranus return of the United States that day.
oh, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that I mean, very Aquarian, like what am
Yeah,
I gonna
the
say?
inauguration.
On the inauguration day, it says,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think I remember seeing that at some point. So United States Uranus sitting right here. I think this, yeah.
I don't think it is that right then? The inauguration January 20th. I don't feel like Uranus will be there yet, but uh
Oh, let's see.
I guess we'll see.
I'm just do the United States. I'm gonna change that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 8 degrees Gemini.
Yeah.
So it is coming, but it's gonna be a while to probably like around 2027, 2028.
Let me see. I should know this because I'm a Gemini and I've been like eyeballing Uranus like oh damn. But yeah, I'm looking at ephemeris right. Yeah, Uranus doesn't enter Gemini until July 2025. So I don't really know why people were talking about a Uranus return. But hey, I just Googled and it was a TikTok thing, so you know how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, you never know what you find on TikTok.
They don't know. Don't yeah, guys, don't I mean, yeah, you could follow people on TikTok for astrology, this and that. Oh, that's really cool, but I highly implore you to do your own research because man, that it's wild with misinformation on TikTok.
Yeah. Hmm.
Let me check the comments, see if anyone wants us to look at something. Um, oh, Jillian is an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
That,
But she's also a cashier at a home improvement store.
okay.
She's definitely been dealing with some emotional stuff lately. Yep. Just, I would say if you do have to take some time to lick your wound, so to speak, like close off a little bit, that's okay. Just don't obviously stay there, you know?
Yeah, it's a rough time.
Um,
Like a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now.
yeah.
This is everybody feels like they have bad luck right now. Just based on how the stars are lined up right now.
Casey, can you message me your chart? She said she can't send a photo in the comments, but Casey, if you send me a message, I will take a look. I'll bring it on the screen. And of course, everyone, this is being recorded. If you do not want your information out there, do not share it. So we're not being held responsible. I'm just saying it. That's the little disclaimer. Just do not share it if you're not comfortable with that. Let's see if she sends it to me. All right, I'll wait for that. Let's see what else.
Hmm. One thing I'm starting to like learn is about the cycles of the moon and reading from the moon cycles and, and that's kind of base astrology, but also like let me stop sharing.
Yeah.
So basically like looking at the eclipse cycles and the lunar cycles like the new moon and like making predictions off of that. I've noticed it's becoming really accurate. Like
Mm.
making like the moon and the sun like the first house. Doing it that way, and then looking at the larger 19-year cycles of the nodes and like predicting like that, you can predict far out into the future with accuracy like that. That's kind of like how I think that's how Nostradamus and a few other famous astrologers did, and how they were so accurate over thousands of years. I mean, hundreds of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. I mean, like people tend to forget that kings and queens and all these people they had personal astrologers. Like even up until now, like Princess Diana had an astrologer. It's not as taboo as you would think it is. These people have been using this to their advantage. These powerful, powerful people, um, to predict and to say, "Hey, when do I make my next move?" And if I remember right, Princess Diana, I think she died on an eclipse day.
Hmm.
Which has factored a lot into her and her children's charts eclipses. And so I'm
Oh,
wondering though if she if she had warning about that or not. I don't know.
we can pull up the chart and see.
That's true. Oh, okay, hold on. First Casey sent me her chart. It's not an astro.com chart, so bear with me. We love us an astro.com chart. Hold on, let me share. Let's see if I can just share this. All right. So, do I need to zoom in or anything? Can you see?
If you can, I can see it, but it's like I prefer it be zoomed in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's just. Oh, wait. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So, la la la. These are always harder for me to read. My mind, my brain, my eyes just can't really.
Yeah.
But let's see. So, the
I,
obvious, you know,
I like to go to the sun first. The sun is always my starting
yeah.
spot. Sun, Chiron, Moon.
Oh,
That's
she's
where
a
I go.
sun conjunct Venus like myself,
Hmm. Interesting.
but in Virgo. I mean, not Scorpio, I mean.
Hmm. So that means that wait, this is Scorpio? Huh. That's actually very interesting because it's like Venus doesn't like being there at all. So shit.
Yeah.
Venus will fall with the sun. Is that Venus behind? Yeah, Venus is behind the sun. Yeah, definitely probably deals with abandonment issue of some sort involving relationships. Um, hmm. Pluto is Pluto's in the 11th
Mars
house.
and Mars is moving back through her 12th, so that's deep. That's some deep. That can unearth, dislodge some deep-seated perhaps issues that haven't
Yeah,
been
that's where mine's at
explored.
too. Yeah, mine's right there too.
Yeah.
That sucks. It really does.
That's an intense one, girl. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I know her. She's in my moon circle in real life, in person. So I know Casey. She said, "Yep, everything has been deep and hard." Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. You guys are gonna hear my dog go crazy, but that's fine.
So this Pluto in the 11th house, I would ask, are you good at technology or is that something you're not very good at? Because most people who have Pluto in the 11th of the sun are kind of have a hard time with technology. They might be kind of conservative. They don't really trust people. They kind of they don't really understand people. It's like, or people don't understand them. Let's see. Okay, so we got Mercury retrograde in the fourth house with the sun opposing Jupiter in Gemini, 10th house. Hmm.
And South Node and North Node stuff, of course.
Is in Pisces. So let's see. This is a night chart. So all the night planets are a lot stronger. That'd be Mars, Venus, um, Moon. The Moon is actually really strong. That might be the strongest planet in this whole chart. That Moon in Cancer. Hmm. So it seems probably like she'd be very protective over social circles or friendships. Things kind of flow easily to her, like as far as she knows what the comfort is. Um,
I could definitely see you being the spiritual person in a relationship. You bring the woo-woo probably, with what you got going on in the seventh there. I feel like maybe you're that person who brings it. Um,
okay, so, yeah, yeah, definitely more of the that Jupiter is definitely more of a Piscean Jupiter because it's
yeah.
let's see. What is Venus rule? Let's see. Venus rules second house and what's second house and ninth house. And Venus
Nothing in
is
the ninth.
in a bad spot. Venus is in a bad spot. Venus rules like money and feeling good. Um it can be it's usually in the night it's more of a fixed energy because this is more of a Taurus kind of Venus because it's in the night. Let's see. Hmm. Something about relationships though, that just keeps coming up because like you have Venus and Mars in the 12th house of the sun. It's like relationships could be a huge problem there. And it could be because there's some repressed traumas that are happening that you might not be aware of that are playing out in your relationship, certain patterns that keep repeating themselves, especially with that Piscean Jupiter sitting in the seventh. Definitely an abandonment issue. Let's see.
I like the Mercury conjunct Uranus in Libra. That could be like you're that offbeat friend. You're that person who's probably like the one who kind of like is goes to the beat of her own drum. I picture you like dancing by yourself. Like I see you dancing by yourself. If that makes any sense at all, like where other people may be like just swaying, you're kind of that one. Like yeah, let's do this, and people are like what? But like that offbeat friend, that kind of like quirky. I get quirky with Uranus Mercury stuff is pretty quirky stuff.
Definitely. I definitely say that with the Pluto in the 11th house. That's definitely what I was trying to
Hmm.
that's what I was trying to describe that the 11th house of the sun that is definitely a quirky kind of energy. Um
She
it's
said,
always
I've
that
had to.
outcast.
Okay.
It's always that outcasted energy when you're dealing with 11th house or Aquarius.
I've had to set hard boundaries on some people in my life in the last year. Yep. With
Oh
a
yeah.
seventh house Pisces, man, those boundaries are, that song Blurred Lines? Like, you know what I
Oh,
mean? The boundaries are water with Pisces. It's like you really have to be firm, and it could be hard for you to be that person with this other stuff I'm seeing. It could be a little bit hard for you to lean into it. But I don't know, you have some Virgo up in there to pull on to be like,
yeah.
hey, look, no, this is not cool. But it could be more challenging. You don't want to hurt feelings. You don't want to alienate yourself. You just want to get along, but also there's some with Pluto and Libra people, and I have that too. It could be volatile for relationships. It's generational, but yeah,
One thing
that's seven out Pisces.
one other thing I noticed is Saturn is in the worst place it could possibly be at in Cancer. So it's like, yeah, in order to take action on something, you have to feel good. Everything has to feel right. Your timing depends on your emotions. Let's see. Another thing to check out is like if you're Virgo rising, you might have to look at your health. That's Virgo's dealing with health issues with Pluto going into the sixth house, and Venus is going there too. So it's like we're kind we're kind of figuring out how we're gonna feel in this new energy. Like this new energy of Pluto in Aquarius is starting to the picture starting to be revealed. So I know a lot of Virgos have a lot of health problems right now. Um, so that I'll definitely say look at that because we're having the South Node in the first house next year around January. So there's definitely something. The main focus for any Virgo rising, Virgo sun is health and not being afraid to uncover what's there.
Mm-hmm. This
Um,
takes this is gonna test your mettle. This will take some courage. It's courage with Mars retrograding in your 12th house of Leo. That's courageously exploring the things that have been under the surface that want to bubble up. Like bo they're gonna boil over if you don't say, okay, I see you, and I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work with you. I'm gonna work with you on this, is what I'm getting. By you, I mean the problem's not like a specific person, but
hmm.
mm,
one thing that I'm just wondering is if she's like if she has mediumship abilities.
well, I mean, she's in my circle, so she's obviously intuitive, but
Yeah.
mediumship specifically, I don't recall. You'll have to tell us, Casey. Hi, Malia. Oh, Malia. I love her. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, let us know, Casey, if you if there's anything specific. I know one thing about her life, but I don't know if she wants it public, so I won't. I'll let her say if she wants us to look at a specific area, but yeah, let us know. She said, I believe I do. I've had experiences, but not really in predicting, more feeling presences.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the ability would be more of a mediumship ability than like the typical psychic. If it hasn't been uncovered, that might be your main gift. I say that because you have all that stuff in the 12th house of the sun. You have Mercury sitting right there in the 12th house of the sun, and it's Libra. This is about relationships with spirit, consciousness in the spirit realm with relationships, spirit guides, other spirits. Hmm.
Also, when I see Neptune in the fourth house, I tend to tell people like I feel like your home needs to be your sanctuary. It needs to be where you feel comfortable with worship with well, not wor I hate to use the word worship but sometimes but spiritual advancement, spiritual learning, develop all of that. I feel like you need it, and you don't have to have a whole ass meditation room or anything, right? A sanctuary in your home. It could be a corner, it could be a little altar, whatever it is. You need to feel like you can relax there. It's very important to relax to get the insights. If you have like a really cluttered home or like especially with the Virgo stuff going on, if you have a really cluttered home or something that's taking your attention away from that from the spiritual connection, it's going to be at your detriment. I feel like you need to create a little sanctuary in your home. And she said I'm open to whatever I see. I just want to say she's looking to relocate to a more spiritual area. So I would say, damn, like now that I see that this Neptune in fourth house, you want to go where you can advance in that way and where you could dive into the subconscious, all that kind of, you know, spiritual stuff, the deep stuff. You want it to go deep, but you really need to make sure your environment reflects that too. And I wonder what you think about that, Altari.
Yeah. definitely as soon as you go to the fourth house, I automatically go to Jupiter because it's the rule of the fourth house. And let's see. And also I'm looking at Jupiter in transit, which is in Gemini. So it's like if you're looking to relocate to a more spiritual area, I'd say look at the facts and look at what's actually presenting itself instead of just going with the dream of like there's a dream. How does it relate to what's actually showing up? That'd be my view on it because of Jupiter in Gemini and Mars retrograde. Oh, Jupiter in Gemini retrograde and Mars retrograde in Sagittarius in your fourth house. So there has to be
I
a
know
certain balance.
I know she's had it's been delayed
Mhm.
and it's been frustrating. Um, so
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, like there's a delay because you have that Mars retrograde and it's squaring Saturn in Pisces. That's probably the delay. It's exactly two. It's like 13. Both of them are 13 degrees.
and what I told her actually, okay, so she's putting it out there so I can let the cat out of the bag. She intends to move to Mount Shasta, okay?
Mm.
Because it's very spirit. We all know that's like a spiritual hub, you guys. But she hasn't found the right house. So girl,
Mm.
that is so important. Don't just say I want that location, but I don't care about the house. Like just get me there. No, no. No,
Yeah.
no, no. You gotta go. You have to physically go. Like a virtual tour is not gonna cut it with what you have here. You gotta go and you have to be inside of the home. You have to feel it out. That's what I'm getting. You have to feel out the environment and go, and you'll know. You will probably know the second you walk over that, if not before, the threshold, you'll go, nah,
Yeah.
like I'll pass on that. So don't let logic go, oh, but this checks these boxes, right? But I don't feel good here. Go with the feel, because if you get into a situation where you're, oh, well, I'm in Mount Shasta, but my house isn't quite the way I envision, or how it doesn't really feel good here, you're just not going to go advance the way you want to. So just patience. And like I told you when I last saw you, it's divine timing. I've gone through the home buying experience and there's frustrations, but then you realize, oh my God, I dodged a bullet with that house. I dodged a
Yeah.
bullet with that house. It was meant to not work out. So don't take it personally or be like, the universe is against me, God is against me. Go like, I dodged a bullet, I guess. So I'm waiting for the perfect one.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely like you get in the house and then there's like a bad spirit in the house. Like everything, all the boxes were checked, but there's a ghost. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Like
or
you
it could
could
be
work with a ghost. You could definitely have stuff to work, but you're probably gonna be like, nah.
yeah, it could be the opposite too. Like you could everything could feel right, but it's like physically there could be something wrong, like something in the contract or something that you didn't, some little clause that you didn't see or something. Get all the details too, but also use your intuition.
And I should say too, based on what I'm seeing in your chart, do not talk yourself into it and do not let somebody else talk you into that home. Do not let a realtor, do not let a partner, do not let a friend or family member say, but it has, oh, but it would be perfect. And if you're not feeling it in here, like it's just a no, just pass. Even though you may be like, but what if something else doesn't come along? It's gonna come along if that is your intention to move there. But you have to investigate that intention as well. Make sure, I see people who think moving is going to solve a bunch of problems, but they're carrying the same problems to the new place. So just make sure it's in full integrity and it's heart-based and it's uh you know what I'm trying to say? It's not trying to escape a bad situation. It's more about like I'm ready to just advance
It might be something involving how the house looks or something about the image of the house might come up too.
the image.
Yeah, I'm getting that because that Jupiter in the 10th house retrograde.
Mm. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's and I'll saying that because it's also squaring that Jupiter squaring Saturn in Pisces. Hmm, that's very interesting.
I would also say since you're so far from Shasta, I would say make sure you get as much information as possible and I know I'm sure you already do this and make sure you're going to look at a few homes before making that drive up there because there may be something that looks too good to be true and it probably will be too good to be true. Like someone's building something up like oh, the whole lipstick on a pig metaphor, like oh, this beautiful home, it's freshly painted, and then you go and you're like,
Yeah,
okay, this is a an absolute dump. Like I make sure and that you're not that you're just being mindful that of people who are not being very forthcoming with the condition of these homes.
yeah.
And you could easily build it up in your imagination. Like this is going to be beautiful, but you have to be factual, which you have in you, to look at the facts and to investigate what's really happening. And to use your intuition. So you really, I think you got this. I think you're built with a lot of what's needed to be discerning, but also trust your intuition too.
Also, like someone just told me like look for termites. Termites like kind of reminds
Oh
me like
no.
Mercurial getting all the details. Look at me like that little detail you didn't notice.
Like it really being a scrutinous and luckily, Scorpio is really good at investigating and scrutinizing, looking into the history of the house, looking into the home ownership, like everything. You're probably a good investigator as far as that goes and looking at the little details. But again, you have this beautiful mysticism that helps you to trust that as well and definitely trust that. If it ain't right, it ain't right. Like don't force yourself into anything that you'll later regret.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, let's stop the share. Unless you
Yeah, I
have
can
anything
definitely
else
see
to.
that. I can definitely see that because like as far as contrast goes, because that Saturn sitting right there, so it's like sitting right there in the seventh house, squaring all that Mercury and Jupiter. So that definitely has something to do with the contract.
Hmm. Hi, son. We saw your chart last time. I don't remember it though, so I couldn't tell you where Mars is moving through yours. You'll have to refresh our memory. She's the one who knew her placement, so she probably knows where Mars is moving retrograde in her chart. Oh yeah, I didn't look at Pluto in this one, did I? Did I look at Pluto? Where Pluto is going to... Oh, you already said it, I
Sixth house.
think. That yeah.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
going
Yeah.
to the sixth house. Yeah.
Of course, this is whole sign, so it could be affecting more than the six, but I'm not really sure.
It has something to do with digestion.
Hmm.
Virgo's known for digestion, sixth house digestion. It's about the small things. Like think about the little details, all the details that are involved in digestion is very mercurial,
Mm,
taking the little nutrients
yeah.
out.
Sun is your. I'll stop sharing while I ask her. Is your? She said her Mars is in Taurus in the 11th, so transit Mars would be in her third. Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
second.
what's her
Uh,
rising?
I don't know. She said her Mars is in Taurus in the 11th. So Gemini rising, I suppose. Son, do you know where are you oh, Cancer rising. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Casey said digestion issues bad this week.
Yep, same.
We what same like same. I won't go into details. Just trust me. Be careful, guys. Like my recommendation right now for those of us who have had that, kind of just go light with the food. Don't like try to go for soups and things that aren't going to tax your system, especially with Mars going retrograde. You don't want to feel lethargic with like be in a carb coma or eat really heavy rich foods. You're probably going to just want to go a little bit lighter than you usually do, or else you're probably going to regret
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
sure, son. Son's gonna send me her chart. Please do. And please know we're recording this, so if you do not want people to see the chart, please let us know and we will not share it. Yeah, we looked at her chart last time, but guys, I look at so many charts. I'm so sorry. Don't take it personally. I'm sure Altariq knows what it's like. Sometimes I do remember what someone has, like specifically, right? But sometimes I'm just like, look, just refresh my memory because I'm so sorry. Okay, let me see if she'll message it. And we'll probably so when do you have to hop off Altariq
Yeah,
for
I'll be
your
off in
meet?
probably about 15 minutes.
Okay, that I was gonna say the same, like we'll be on for 15 minutes. That works out perfectly. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll probably look at her chart if she sends it on Messenger. Are you sending it Messenger? Son, are you able to see the comments, Altariq?
Can't see.
Okay, let me look. Yeah, we'll see if she sends that, we'll look a little bit. But in general, what we let's kind of recap Mars retrograde. We're seeing it play out. We're seeing it play out. And it can get ugly, it could get heated. But to me, when it's opposing Pluto in Aquarius, it is necessary movement. It's not in vain. It's very purposeful. It's not just rage against a machine for no good reason. It's purposeful. It's change making.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be quite a thing. Like in the world, we're already seeing it playing out. Especially as soon as that Sagittarius new moon hit, everything just kind of like started falling apart a little bit around the world. I saw
Hell
all the
yeah.
some strange stories that were just coming out. I'm still looking
And
for
can I
something
say
in,
too?
in the Air Sea.
That people left and right have had tremendous health issues. I mean, I've seen people it's been interesting. It's been really sad and interesting. I mean, these health issues that like I said, be gentle with yourself right now. It's you have to be mindful of where your energy goes. Cut out things that you don't need to be doing right now, all right? Like let go of what's burdening you and sapping your energy. I'd say be just super mindful. It's your energy is sacred. Just be very
Mhm.
mindful about where it's going. It's our most precious asset is our energy. This is Sun's chart. Let's see. Oh, do. Another
Hmm.
first house retrograde situation.
Okay. First thing I'm always looking at is the Pluto Sun relationship. Pluto be.
Hmm.
So I think that'll be the yeah, that'd be the ninth house Pluto of the Sun. So it's like you have to expand your horizons. Don't just like be don't live life where it's like you're waiting for that ship to come in, but then when it comes in, it's not what you expected, or
Hmm.
your version of how you thought your life should go doesn't look exactly that way because you had this image in your head built up. Or it's just like basically just going deeper into life and instead of skating over the surface.
Hmm.
That's kind of advice I'd say for somebody with a Pluto ninth house position. Like when I think about Pluto and Sagittarius people, like that generation, it's like the Gen Z. So it's like everybody's on TikTok. Just look, all right, I'm an expert because I saw this on TikTok. Like, I know
Well,
what's
like
wrong
I
with
just
y'all.
mentioned, like they're wrong a lot, guys. Like,
Yeah,
and I should mention when he says house Pluto, he's talking about the ninth house of the sun. He's not talking about, you're looking at your ninth house, like, Pluto's not there. No, that's not what he's referring to. Just FYI,
yeah,
in case you're like, what? You're not looking at my chart. So just
yeah,
FYI. And that Pluto, I think we talked about this, that Pluto square Mercury can be like really a abrasive type of energy. You could that little the Scorpio stinger is like like you probably go at people with your words like do, and these are the facts, and I'm right,
yeah,
and you probably don't back down from your argument. You're like gonna die right on top of that hill type of vibe.
yeah. Hmm. You said because of Mercury?
The Mercury Pluto square.
Oh, Mercury Pluto square. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. The interesting thing is that Mercury's in, let's see, that'd be the 12th house of the sun. So it has like a Piscean Mercury aspect. But it's also square Pluto. Hmm. That made me think of like the self-sabotage situation involving a consciousness of some sort. Hmm.
And also the thing about like here's why it's when in an argument you're probably like I'm right and you're wrong, but here's why. You're at least like giving the fact. You're not just like, there's like a Leo energy that can be kind of like, well, I'm right in the end. Like I'm not going to expand on that, right? Whereas when you have Mercury in Aquarius, it's like I'm going to give you the facts and I'm going to school you, whether
Hmm.
you want me to or not.
Are you like a misfit? You always stuck out from the crowd? Hmm. I say that because the Chiron opposition to Uranus.
Mm.
Because, or maybe it feels like you got left behind by the creator or the universe or something, or hmm. Or maybe you just feel something about the mom, or like you may feel alone or something.
She says she likes to be contrarian. Yeah, no kidding.
Uh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, and this season is probably your season to be contrarian too. You're probably fired up. Like like, hey, I want to argue today. Who do I choose? Like who's my victim? But again, what we were talking about, like humbling yourself, it would go, be very mindful of that part. Like you can learn more, like just open yourself up to, even if it means humbling yourself to others' opinions, just like try not to be so reactive, try to be like, okay, let me think about this. Let me digest this mentally and see how it sits with me. Not to say it has to change your mind, because it's probably pretty hard to change your mind. But I would say just be open to advisement and be open to other opinions, leading into sort of a transformative experience for you, or else there's not going to be growth right now. And you probably want growth right now. I don't think you're the type of person to desire to stay where you're at. You probably want to expand a little bit.
Yeah, but there could be like okay, so the thing that sticks out to me is that moon in Capricorn, because Capricorn moon doesn't like being in Capricorn because
Mm-hmm.
opposite where it wants to be, it's in detriment. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also a day chart, so that it's out of sec, and the Saturn is actually pretty strong, except it's not on the same side as the sun, so it's not in its own light. I like looking at the conditions of all the planets, add that little extra color. Jupiter is interesting. Jupiter pretty good, but Jupiter would probably prefer being in Gemini. It's close. Let's see. Sun's in Pisces. Um, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. That Jupiter in Taurus.
She said, Cap Moon leads my life sometimes.
You said leaves?
Leads my life sometimes.
Oh,
Do you want to expand on that, son? What do you maybe some people are more like their moon sign, which is interesting.
I'll say
Especially
more
Earth moons,
night
I've
chart
noticed.
people. I think night chart people
Yeah.
are definitely gonna identify their moon more than the sun. Like me, I'm more a Capricorn than I am a Virgo.
I can't cry, she said. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a Capricorn moon too.
Yep.
I already know what that's like.
And with that air Mercury, like man, it probably takes a lot for you to get all up in your feels, even though you are you have some water up in there, but
This is it's in the sixth house. All that stuff's happening in the sixth house. So it must have been a rough past 16 years because like and Pluto and Saturn run through all those planets in the sixth house.
hmm
Rough.
like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, things are getting
Oh
better
man.
for her. Things are definitely getting better. Hmm. However, as far as relationships, that's that thing again, that attachment versus detachment. Wanting to connect too much and not wanting to connect at all. Things like that are gonna come up.
She said lots of health issues.
Yeah,
I think she meant with Pluto moving through her sixth. I would imagine so. I mean, good job
absolutely.
being alive right now, man. Like,
Yeah,
I hope you're feeling a little bit of release of pressure at the moment.
yeah.
After all that, Jesus.
Finally gone from that sign, so that's definitely a huge plus with all those planets.
Oh, but then there will be a little bit of a, I won't say a little bit, but later on, years later, she'll have the Pluto square situation. But
Oh,
you
with
don't have to worry about that yet.
Pluto square Pluto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we all of us in millennials got to deal with that at some point. Mine's like I'm
I
20
I
degrees.
did I paid my dues. I'm an elder millennial. I was at 29 degrees Pluto in Libra, so I'm I'm good except for I have various Scorpio stuffs, but I won't think about that. Right now, I'm good
Yeah.
with it. And actually the day it entered Aquarius, I had a huge shift, like a huge shift, and it felt like euphoria. Like all of a sudden I just felt like so elevated, and I felt like my certain troubles were just gone. I was like, this feels good, but it's interesting how it does take a foot off the pedal a little bit.
Wow, that's crazy. You're like 29 degrees Libra, and then the Pluto Saturn conjunction happened squaring your Pluto. Wow, that's crazy. Out 2019,
Yeah.
2019,
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's yeah, I got very, very ill in 2019.
Yeah.
Very, very ill.
Hmm. Did you have like any spiritual breakthroughs in that time?
Me?
Yeah.
It's when I re-entered spirit, like I had taken a break on like card read anything like spiritual a little bit because I was working a lot, and then as soon as I entered back into it, I got sick. Like I literally did a video saying I'm back. And about a month after that, I was hospitalized. So it's like, yeah, it put me in my place.
Hmm.
It really, and then I felt like spirituality was on the back burner because I was physically recovering. Like my whole goal was physical recovery because I was
Hmm.
so close to death at that point. I had a feeding tube for 9 months to get food into me because I lost so much weight. It took 9 months for me to gain it all back.
What house is
So
that
yeah,
Pluto? What house
uh
is that in for you?
the 12s.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I was asking about spirituality. Yeah,
Yep.
that
So
makes sense.
yeah, and at the time I wasn't tracking my transits because I was kind of removed from that at the time. But
Yeah.
it really put me in my place, man. And but I've since regained my spiritual connection, or else I wouldn't be right here right now.
Yeah.
Um, okay, we're about at 12:30. So
Yeah,
let's
I gotta
stop
go pretty
our
soon.
share. So yes, thank you for everyone who shared your charts, being brave and sharing your charts. Our next one, boy, we haven't planned out our next live. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have
Maybe we
to
could
get
talk
into it.
about
Hmm.
the January transits, or like we could talk about the inauguration. We could talk about just the
Oh yeah,
themes of what we're entering into in
yes,
January, including the
definitely.
inauguration.
Yeah,
So maybe we'll do
definitely.
that closer to maybe the week after Christmas, since Christmas is it's a busy time. Maybe like oh, we
January
could do
6th.
like the 6th?
Yeah, that's when they certify the election. Like that's when the whole rebellion happened.
Yes. Let's do it. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. Yes.
yeah,
Okay. January 6th, guys, that you heard it here. We'll be back with that. And if you ever like, man, they should talk about this or that, because there's so many things we could talk about. Like seriously, let us know. Leave us feedback and say, hey, why don't you talk about this upcoming thing? But we'll probably do a year ahead thing in January then, like just looking at the major things that are
definitely.
happening. Some of which astrologers are like, leave the country. And I'm like, calm down. But
Nah, don't leave the
anyways.
country. Leave Europe. No.
So we'll see where we're being guided. But thanks to those who joined and who shared, and it's our pleasure to spread the knowledge. And yeah, we'll let you know when we'll meet again.
All right,
See y'all later.
later.